我衷心希望姚明到了新的地方以后，人在一地，我想你要心系祖国，命系祖国，想着祖国，想着人民，想着我们。因为为什么呢？祖国是需要你，祖国在培养你。
This was the farewell ceremony the Chinese Basketball Association prepared for Yao Ming. But on his face, there was no joy, only pressure. He knew the moment he walked out of that room. He wasn't just chasing a dream. He was stepping onto an NBA path weighed down by tens of millions of dollars. The applause echoed through the hall. The speeches were filled with phrases like bring glory to the nation and create new vision. But to a 22-year-old, those words didn't feel inspiring. They felt heavy, because behind this formal send-off, he wasn't being sent off with pure blessing. He was being pushed forward by conditions, negotiations, and obligations. This wasn't simply a dream coming true. It felt more like mortgaging his future before it even began. Rewind to the early 2000s. Yao Ming was already the most dominant center in the CBA. 7'5", skilled, soft touch, elite footwork, high basketball IQ. From a 1999 to 2000 season on, his numbers exploded year after year. By 2001, NBA teams like the Washington Wizards, the Houston Rockets, and the Portland Trail Blazers had already sent executives and scouts to China. The Wizards reportedly made it clear, if Yao declared for the draft, they would seriously consider taking him with the #1 pick. On the surface, it looked inevitable, but the real problem was never basketball. It was whether he would be allowed to leave. When the opportunity arrived, the Shanghai Sharks shocked everyone with their demands. At first, they reportedly asked for a $30 million buyout. They also wanted an NBA team to provide high-level foreign players in exchange, send coaches to China long-term, and help fund modern basketball facilities. At the time, NBA rules limited international buyouts to a few $100,000, around $500,000 at most. $30 million was unrealistic, impossible. The result? Yao was forced to withdraw from the 2001 NBA draft. He stayed in the CBA, watching what could have been his stage disappear. He waited another year. In the 2001 to 2002 season, Yao responded in the only way he knew how, by dominating. He controlled every corner of the league. In the CBA finals, he averaged 41 points, 21 rebounds, and over 4 blocks per game. He ended the Bai Rockets' 7-year dynasty and delivered the Shanghai Sharks their first championship in franchise history. He turned "you must let him go" into reality. But just as he lifted the trophy, the real battle began again. Shanghai reportedly lowered their demand to around $18 million in training compensation. For a player who hadn't even signed an NBA contract yet, that number was overwhelming. Backed into a corner, Yao made a bold move. He publicly stated that if he wasn't allowed to enter the NBA that year, he would retire. It wasn't a threat. It was a young man recognizing he had reached the final window of his career. Public pressure mounted. Negotiations intensified. Eventually, the number was reduced to somewhere between $8 and $15 million. But even then, it would have to be paid back gradually from his future NBA salary. And it still wasn't over. To leave for the NBA, Yao needed an official clearance letter from the Chinese Basketball Association. That letter came with conditions. He had to sign a written commitment, no matter how packed the NBA schedule became. If the national team called, he must report Olympics, FIBA World Championship, Asian Games, FIBA Asia Championship. No exceptions. At one point, there were even proposals that he turn over up to 50% of his NBA salary. The idea sparked controversy domestically and strong opposition from the Houston Rockets and the NBA Players Association. After intense negotiations, the percentage was reduced to 5% of his after-tax income. But the commitment to the national team remained. The talks dragged on until just hours before the 2002 NBA draft. Caught between the Sharks, the CBA, the national team, and the NBA, Yao had almost no leverage left. In the end, he signed the personal commitment letter, taking on all future risk himself, just to secure the document that would allow him to leave. On draft night in 2002, when Commissioner David Stern announced the name Yao Ming, the world witnessed history. But few understood what it had cost him before he ever played a single NBA game. The spotlight was bright. The moment was iconic. But long before his NBA career began, Yao had already paid a price most players never face. And that's why his journey in the NBA was never just about basketball.